Welcome back, everybody, here to your grand final of the Epicenter US Qualifier, game number 4. Shazam going up against Complexity. Complexity with the one-game advantage and only require one game to qualify for our land finals happening later in May. Let's go to our game. Let's go to our draft. That's almost a perfectly smooth intro. I failed at the last moment, Scat. Last moment.
Well, I'm just happy it wasn't my fault. I didn't interrupt you.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. I wasn't even unmuted. It couldn't have been me. Yeah. I know. Draft time, man. Draft time. What a surprise. No Beastmaster, no bounty. 4 for 4 on these two heroes.
I just want to see how Shazam adapts, because I think that Complexity make a very clear statement by starting their previous game draft with Invoker and Darkseer, that they just don't think Shazam's going to beat them if the game goes late and it gets to that point where they've, the game's about experienced decision making and like complex tactical moves made as a team. And I feel like Shazam might even sense that about Complexity, that they've decided, they've got our number, we only win when we snowball them out of nowhere. I'm interested to see if Shazam go for a totally different approach to the game.
I was interested to see if Complexity would take the Earth Spirit away from Shazam. Because look at this. They were waiting for it. Now MSS gets his Invoker. Shazam gets their Darkseer.
It's an exact turnaround. This is last game. Shazam started at Spurs and then Complexity went Darkseer Invoker. So I was wondering, like, does Shazam show something different? And it looks like it. It looks, now they're the ones that have, at least at the beginning of the draft that's sort of more stable and less dependent on making plays early on.
It is. Complexity also with roaming gankers. When you've got... actually, can you get away? No, you can't. Because, I'm thinking, can Complexity get away with still running a jungle hero like a Chen? But it may be a little bit too weak in the lanes. You were mentioning that during the last game, where it's like, can you really run an Earth Spirit and a jungle-only presence style hero?
Yeah, it's not likely. And I also think that Z-Freak is their jungler and their Earth Spirit player. I might be wrong, but I think that...
As you said, man, they can play anything, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And I'm
that good.
Pretty sure Hanskin did play Chen back in NIP. Maybe I'm wrong about that too, but I think he did. So they could do that if they wanted to. But Nature's Prophet's a hero.
It's a lot easier being green in this game.
Yeah, it's not difficult at all being green. In fact, Nature's Prophet just creates more green everywhere he goes.
You gotta do the what was that movie? Fifth Element. Fifth Element line. It's green. Everything's gonna be green.
Yeah.
You better know that. Do you know that?
I don't know that line. I know the movie. I really like The Fifth Element. It's like one of my favorite movies, but I don't know that line.
How, if it's one of your favorite movies, do you not know that line? It's almost as famous as like Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Yeah, but I haven't watched the movie in like 10 years, and I'm not a memer. So...
It's not your favorite movie then.
No, I mean, I like it so much.
You're gonna pull out the old classics. I was watching Harrison Ford in Air Force One last night.
Okay.
That was the.
I do that with some movies, but I don't know. The Fifth Element just doesn't seem like a. I don't know.
So be careful what you say next, Ken. Be careful what you say next. I have a mute button here. I'm not afraid to use it.
I'm just a little bit concerned that I'll be like.
As a lover of non-classics for life, yes, Ken. Yes. No. Yes, you could.
No. I love the film, but I'm not totally convinced that I would enjoy watching it now. I think that's a fair position.
That's like someone saying, I wouldn't watch the original Doctor Who's because the production quality was so bad.
Well, but you're not watching Doctor Who for production quality, but when you watch science fiction films, it's inevitable that you that's what you think about, and it would irritate.
You can think about it, but I'm still hey man, I would go back and watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine time and time again, even though I'm just oh, that quality is not that great.
Do you watch Dota 1 replays?
No, no.
Why not? Why don't you watch Dota 1 replays?
Because unless they're highlights of Yafets, it's just
But you can improve your knowledge of the game. You can gain a more thorough understanding of the history of the
or
game.
I could learn what Picard would do in all situations. What is more important in my life?
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think you're missing out
Or
because if you watched as many,
potentially I could just watch the movie. I can't remember which one it was. Where you had both Picard and freaking James T. Kirk in it. It had like the ribbon and evil bad scientist that tried to get back to his happy place.
you can stick to rewatching really old classic films, and I'll stick to rewatching Dota 1 replays, and we'll each to our own, right? And I'm going to be able to give you analysis based on this. My Dota 1 replays for this match.
Then that's fine. I don't think I want to hear your analysis of Shazam because it's just too bloody obvious with what they've done. This is the same draft we have seen throughout the Shanghai Major. There is nothing unusual about this at all. It is what it is.
And actually, Complexity also. Complexity have this is like MVP Phoenix's opening draft of the tournament. I think this is like they picked their first I think 4 or 5 games of that tournament. They picked Nature's Prophet and Disruptor almost every game. It was just like what they wanted to do, and obviously Earth Spirit's a no-brainer. You just have it when you can. There's plenty of room for Complexity to force fighting early on, and it's for me it's really interesting because they see Shazam shifting gears, going for the more stable like mid to late term draft, like they did last game, and their response is, well, we're going to MVP it up in here, we're going to do a lot of fighting early on, we're going to put pressure on you, but in a sustained way that guarantees we close out the game as well. And depending on the execution, it could work very, very well, and it could show that Swindles and his teammates, I mean, I don't know who's responsible for which thoughts, have a pretty good understanding of which kind of styles can counter which other kinds of styles.
Truly could be MVP. Jar.
Yeah,
this actually I think is going to be a more interesting game. Between the split push and the team fight potential of both sides, pick-off potential, this has a lot more elements, which could actually be more exciting than, they're ready to 4 or 5 man down one lane. See how it all unfolds.
I mean, I think if Complexity's draft works the way they want it to, Shazam could be beaten out of this game really early, actually, despite the fact that they've got this supposedly stable mid game can fight from behind draft. I mean, if Complexity have the execution right, I think that they, at least with these 8 heroes so far, I think they could beat down Shazam.
They actually banned the Tidehunter. Are they? Wait, what? Is this a mid-profit from Complexity?
I guess that's something they're expecting. We do know that usually Complexity's profit is played by Chessie. They when they pick a profit, usually Chessie plays it and they switch Swindle into the safe lane or the mid lane. I've seen him play Ursa. I guess Swindle could play Gyro.
The only reason I'm a little bit iffy about it is because I don't really see Earth Spirit and Nature's Prophet. With some good micro of treants and body blocking, I can see that working out for him to get a kill on the Invoker. I don't know, when... I just prefer something else which has more kill potential.
I'll tell you something, Qualifier has the second most games on Furion out of any player in the world. No prizes for guessing who has the most, but Qualifier almost always plays mid Furion, and he had one tonight in Dream League, and he did exceptionally well. He was breaking records left, right, and center. So I don't know, maybe Complexity were watching Dream League and they were like, that's pretty cool, we can do that too.
I definitely see the potential of hey, you remember I talked to you about this down in Shanghai. I'm like, you know what, I can agree with a safe lane profit after our TZ's play and what happened with that. I could agree with the jungle profit for a while. I could agree with the offlane profit, mid profit. I'm sure this guy works everywhere. He's just that good. But a Tuskar pickup now from Shazam. I just love their name. Their name is so good. So much class and style, and a Bat Rider will be the last one. So it will actually be a Chessie profit, and this should be the offlane Swindle Bat Rider, more than likely.
Yeah, which would make it a mid Gyro then, which is quite interesting. I mean, teams have done that before.
Yeah, no. I'd still push the Gyro to the safe lane. Gyro's still gonna get the safe lane.
So you're saying Chessie will just take the profit in the mid lane? Because they usually give it to him in the safe lane, actually. That's what they usually do.
I'd be very concerned if they did that.
They could run an aggressive lane. They could do profit in the safe lane, Batrider mid, and aggressive tri lane. That's something they could definitely do here.
Aggressive tri lane up against a Tusker and a Lion though, that could easily backfire. Even if the Spectre's not going to do a lot early on, the control factors from Lion and Tusker could be brutal.
Yeah, I mean the Tusk pick was really good, yeah. Both for the laning stage and also because of it's very clear that Complexity want to fight a lot early on. And Tusk can kind of brawl against them. But I don't know, for me Lion is not necessarily that strong in a 3v3 situation, especially if your carry's not doing that much, so I think an aggressive tri lane could definitely be in the works here.
Oh, hello. So, we actually get a Swindles Gyrocopter. It will be a Chessie Nature's Prophet. A Limp Batrider, Z-Freak will be the Earth Spirit, and that leaves Huntskin over on the Disruptor. So, yeah, it may be exactly what you're talking about. They'll be going up against TC's safe lane Spectre. Jason will be trying to protect with that Lion. Savage rotating Tusker, MSS, mid Invoker, and then the off lane of Brax. And Brax is already going to get scattered out his movements thanks to this one little treant that I was able to get all the way down to bottom lane to try and watch him plant that Observer Ward. But Complexity moving smoke movement heavily.
Those treants is going to bait. They're trying to use that tree to bait, but now they're just going to scout around. If Complexity were to get first blood here, it would like almost guarantee that they could run an aggressive tri lane successfully. That's they already have like a pretty safe opportunity to do so if they want to, but the way that they're rotating off the lane, I'm not actually sure what they're planning to lane. This might just be
like Swindles is trying to go the quick path to get to the bottom lane rune. No,
yeah, it's like
they're not getting that. Just 1-for-1 trade-off. So yeah, Limp's going to play the mid Batrider, and they are going to run the aggro tri lane with Disrupt the Earth Spirit as well as Gyro, which means leaves the safe lane Chessie.
Oh, good job from Shazam finding the Observer Ward already and dealing with it.
They still have to burn both their sentries for it. Hey, I suppose in a way you're okay with that, but now when the ball comes through, Jason, oh, that Thunderstrike is still going to do a lot of damage, and Z-Freak, thanks to the Orb of Venom, they're actually going to kill him off. First blood goes the way of Complexity.
And that's with the Lion stunning both people. And by the way, Tusk is not even there. Tusk is trying to run the aggressive dual lane with the Darkseer, which, I mean, if they manage to kill this Nature's Prophet early on, will pay off. But he started with boots, so I don't think the Tusk is going to get that value in this lane.
This can't be the dream either. The Radiant Observer was watching most of it. In fact, he actually just locks Brax inside the shards instead. Chessie is going to play this perfectly, and they'll get nothing from it. And they can't afford to do this. Like, a Spectre with no farm early on doesn't do anything. Like, the whole idea of, like, running the earlier aggressive Spectre, which is what we always saw, is getting, like, drums, is having Urn, or is having, like Aquila, is, like, having these major items that allow him to be involved in the fights with Z-Freak. The perfect boulder forward, goes with a body block, TC into the trees with a Thunderstrike's gonna kill him. They only get one, they'll get not a second. Okay, yep.
And by the way, so we talk about the aggressive tri lane dominating, we talk about the Tusk and Darkseer not doing enough to the Nature's Prophet, but even in the mid lane, this Invoker is really struggling against Limp's Batrider.
Actually, could be a very quick game.
Yeah, that's what's talking. This is like this playstyle. If they get the execution right, if the early game works for them, Complexity, I think have done enough studying of teams like MVP to know what they need to do to just. It really could be a beatdown.
Obviously not what we're hoping for. We're hoping for nice close games. But at the same time, we weren't even expecting to get a fourth game in this series coming into tonight. So that in itself is already a win for Shazam.
Yeah, I mean, the Shazam won the first game very convincingly. The second game, they weren't really in much. The third game, they were ahead for quite a while.
He's got 2 sticky napalm stacks on him already. The kickback will happen. Ice Wall will buy him a little bit of space, but he's still got sticky napalm. Prophet was about to TP forward, but Limp has still got the Firefly, and MSS will burn in hell.
Yeah, and this is just a depressing place to be in if you're Shazam. you try to draft the solid, kind of stable, secure draft that the enemy teams used to beat you in the last 2 games, and they kind of use their momentum across the series, complexity, saying, well, you know, this is match point, we only need to win this game, and we're going to start off pressuring you right from the beginning, forcing you to fight. You have a draft that doesn't want to fight, and it's just going to push Shazam into a corner where they start just getting completely choked.
Dude, you got TC with 1 CS in 2.5 minutes. TC was always known as Mr. Consistency. He would always be able to find the farm. He would just do it so safely and so secure, but if he can't do it, Invoker's only just starting to catch back up now. MSS up to 8 CS against the 10 of the Bat Rider, but still with his death, he's pushed back further and further behind. Bottom lane, Chessie's trying to kill off Brax. He's got Sprout available, but he also understands that Brax has a tango. So why waste the mana?
But right now, Brax is the only one getting any kind of reasonable value off the map for Shazam.
Going for mid. Snowball, yep, limp into the Firefly, means he'll go straight over the top of the shards, but the stun's there from Jason. But Fairy Fire consumed, and now the kicker. It arrives from Z-Freak, and they're inside the Firefly. Savage will lose his life. Now it's a big rotation from the 2 supports. They needed to do something though. Like, you can't blame them for trying. But it failed.
You can't blame him for trying, but at the same time, it's really difficult to kill Bat Rider with the Ice Shards gank for exactly the reason you described. And Lion's only level 2, and Invoker's only level 4. They really just didn't have a whole lot of damage output there. Without trapping the Ice Shards, it's unlikely to ever make a kill. What makes it even worse is that the Earth Spirit comes in and makes a kill on them.
They go on Chessie. Sunstrike's on its way. It's going to miss everything. As Chessie already with his phase boost just walks out. So he'll TP himself back to base and TP scroll straight back to the bottom lane.
I gotta feel bad for Savage's Tusk. I mean, his Earth Spirit games are so good today, but so far his Tusk, the only Ice Shards that he's hit perfectly is the one against the Bat who could fly over them. The other Ice Shards have just not been working out at all so far this game.
Well, what's he really meant to do though? Like, they played the lanes, like, they guessed the lanes wrong, is probably the better way of describing it from the start. They thought they could get the kill over on Chessie, but that was only really going to happen later on. When you got a level 2 Iron Shell, and then you can both be snowballed into the Iron Shell damage. Like, that had to be the way you do that. Hans is going to free kill over here on the top lane, just because he came in way too close. Yeah, so that kill on the bottom lane wasn't going to happen until level 2 Iron Shell. So you move the Tuskar off the top lane where Complexity are trying to get aggressive. They find 1 hero out and 2 supports can deal with it. It's just what happened. It's
on mid lane, as he TP's back in, Earth Spirit's on him, and this is going to be another kill probably on the Invoker.
The kick in that's actually so good from Limp, what he did just then. He keeps MSS inside the Firefly, which is great. But because of the Flame Break, he didn't have to walk through the ice wall and get slowed. But yes, Savage gets returned, and finally now he goes up by 2 levels for the kill over on that Earth Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a similar comparison. Like, TC managed to get a kill on the Disruptor early on, and I feel like that's probably worth as much as all of his creeps put together this game.
Hard life. Swindles needs to stay here on the tower. Provis going to TP up and say goodbye to your tier 1 tower. I don't know if Chessie was really required for this unless they intend to go further, but without a cooldown, I doubt Complex do want to force an issue further than this. They may have just been looking for the last hit over onto Chessie. What critical item is he looking for that the others wouldn't get?
I'm not too sure.
It seems like an odd move, because the tower was most definitely dead. They knew that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Usually an Nature's Prophet just goes drum here, to be honest, right after phase boots, so... I don't know, he could go for early Orchid and just be an assassin.
Orchid may not be that bad up against a very under-farmed and under-leveled Invoker. But at the same time, they can just go pure damage, TC. Wall is up, balls are flying, and Z-Freak's gonna find 1 kill. Instantly silences over on Savage, which gives Swindles time to go for Rocket Barrage. Not enough time to get his 1 charges off. So, Jaro for respect, and again, Savage is the one that reaps the rewards. Almost hits level 6 now, thanks to this.
So Spectre is actually part of the reason it's the most popular carry in this patch is exactly that. It's quite good at coming back. You just get your levels, you get to level 6, maybe get an urn, and even if you're very far behind in farming, you get involved in some of the kills, and all of a sudden you've got a whole lot of items. The problem is that you need your teammates to be doing well. Because to haunt into a gank is not going to do anything if the gank itself is not going to be close to successful in the first place. And when you're a Spectre that's behind and your teammates are also all behind, it's really difficult to make that comeback.
Got it.
A little bit concerned that Swindle's getting more space in the bottom lane, but Shazam are already on top of this. Smoke moving, they understand the complexity. They always like to do this kind of stuff. Just give Swindles a little bit of safe time on that lane. Just kind of a standard thing to do in Dota at the moment anyway, but I'll surge forward onto Tuskar. This is the Iron Shell gank I was waiting for. The level 4 Iron Shells, here comes the Spectral Haunt, the team does most of the work. TC is there for... actually...
He was about to die.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually... It's so fortunate that they hadn't finished the kill yet as he haunted out from top.
So he actually gets the experience from being down there, and the assist, and Limp wastes his first reveal of a Blink Dagger and his use of a lasso. Ah, that's actually so good for TC.
Yeah, it's honestly, in a game like this, I feel like they can use any luck they can get, and that was like the most fortunate thing. Works out perfectly, just barely gets away, gets the XP, has somewhere to go because the Gyro didn't die earlier. Like, if he died a bit faster, if the Gyro died a bit, there's so many different things that would make that not work out for them.
Yep.
Still, they're still losing their top tower.
Another last hit for the Nature's Prophet, and it will be the drum build coming in from Chessie. And now they'll just turn their attention, and this will just be a systematic removal of outer towers. And they just take out tier 1, tier 2s, go through the next lane. They focus on the top lane to start with because they're trying to restrict the movement of Shazam inside their own jungle. This stops TC from having any extra safer level of farming. And it also opens up more space for Limp to steal and Chessie to steal.
Hey Toby, you wanna know something cool? Jason's Lion has like double the net worth right now, 9 minutes in, than he had like at the end of the game in game 2.
That's a little harsh, bro. Do you want me to get those 4 steps? We'll open up the wound so you can pour some salt in.
So by all reports, this is actually a great game for Jason's Lion.
Hey, he got himself a double stun. Yeah, first one was then fed away, but he can't be blamed for that. He did the best he possibly could under difficult circumstances. Nice denial as well. That Forge Spirit just denied the mid tower.
Well, I mean, now, they need everything they can get.
Blink Lasso, he finds Savage. Tuskar is actually worth quite a lot if they can get the kill. And now in comes the Spectral Haunt, the Flame Break is still going to burn down Savage. The cooldown from Swindle's going to control the last portion of the eastern half of this fight as Brax runs away but be dragged back into one hell of a storm. Set in place by Disruptor, who just keeps making himself, because obviously he's very narcissistic. He's a beautiful man. Actually... Hanskin is a very beautiful man. They thought they had this. They thought Z-Freak was stranded. Now the Suns will miss. Limp jumps forward. The wall is perfect. Even with the snowball forward, the Invoker Sunstrike will get a revenge kill over on top of the Batrider. That's actually Tuskar. Again, Savage. Give this man a cookie. He's managed to get huge kills. And he will eventually die, but he's still got, what was that, 714 gold for the mega kill streak on Limp.
He had to buy back for that. So,
details! The raining on his parade of ice.
Okay, fair enough. We gotta say positive things, and there are some positives for Shazam. Like, a few minutes ago, I probably wouldn't have thought that Spectre even got to where he is now with the phase boots and the bracer and the magic wand, and he's gotten that far. And it does just... Spectre honestly is that kind of hero that suddenly Shazam finds a way to wipe complexity, Spectre stays alive through all the kills, and it's gonna have like a big item, and then the next fight is that much easier. But I find it very difficult to see Shazam doing that, winning that team fight anytime soon.
Yeah, it's a hard picture to get in your mind. With the mech, maybe they have more sustain. Yeah, they have to keep relying on smokes. And how many of those do they even have? Like, there's none on the heroes right now. They got 1 in stock for the moment. I doubt there's any on the... Yep, there's none on the courier. And Z-Freak playing very defensive on bottom lane. They knew he
Because
had to be there somewhere because their observer ward.
he's 5th in the net worth, by the way. This is a support Earth Spirit who's only got 1 hero on the enemy team, is more farmed than him.
I would actually think that was something weird, but after seeing what Fear did at the Shanghai Major, I am not surprised by that at all. Successful Earth Spirit, like, he basically just craps coins.
Yeah, and he's had a good game so far. He's been hitting all of his spells. I mean, I was praising Savage's Earth Spirits, and it would only be appropriate to praise the Freaks as well. Even though there was some missed ice shots early on in the game, he's been part of basically all of the plays that Shazam have actually succeeded at this game.
Got the Night Guards coming out from Complexity. The micro of Chessie. This is very reminiscent of what, like, in VG Gaming's heyday, Ice was always doing, and he was always massively promoted for doing such a thing, because it was like, oh, the StarCraft 2 micro skills kicking in. Just getting all the map information by sending a wave of treants out.
It's really good. It's really good, and I think some prophets are just a bit lazy about it and like attack move their treants when they're not using them. Just attack move them onto neutral camps, and just sending 1 or 2 of them around to scouts like can generate a lot of value.
Yep. Complexity now going to take out another lane of towers. Shazam fighting into this seems pretty difficult. Remember, we're only 13, 14 minutes into the game. Complexity have no desire to go high ground just yet. Right, at this point, all they want to do is remove all the outer towers until Swindles can finish up maybe his SMY, and Chessie has a high ground pushing item. It may even be a good Deso game for him if they want to try and force the buildings early, but Shazam gonna come out and fight. This is...
Lion's level 4.
they don't have any kind of burst damage. The Spectral Hall will reveal a little bit, stops the limb from jumping forward, but Disruptor's positioning was perfect. Savage knew he's going to roll himself into that. Z-Freak will die for the cause, but TC in so deep, the Sunstrike, Swindles, Limb. He's there to tank it for him, and then dragging Brax down the hill into another electrical wall. He can't search himself out of that one. Swindles with the dagger. TC's really chasing this kill. Swindles down to 29 HP, starts TP. TC needs 1 attack, and he's going to get it off before the glimpse kicks in. You've still got that Darkseer wall up, so TC can play around this with the help of MSS. Shazam, that fight went a hell of a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, it's actually fantastic for them. I mean, the Darkseer managed to run in, make good use of the mech, get all of his spells off, and I gotta say, level 4 Lion found a way to run into a fight and stun 2 heroes, and like, get out. I mean, what? That's well done to Jason for actually finding that opening to actually get in there, not just get spells off, but to stun 2 heroes. It makes all the difference actually in TC killing Swindle, and that's TC now onto a drum. And this is the hero you need to watch out for in this game for Complexity is the Spectre, because these little fights, that fight is overall like probably still something of a win for Complexity, but relative to the game state they're in, they shouldn't be. Spectre shouldn't be able to kill Gyrocopter, you know, Spectre shouldn't be able to be involved in kills and get out. That's not something that can afford to happen.
It's just because the fight got a little bit chaotic for him. And now they jump, they go off TC, Chessie, with the Sprite up, TC. He still has Spectral Dagger to walk out of it, so he just summons the tree and straight away, and TC will use that Spectral Dagger to run to the tree line. He's still ticking out, and Limp just needs 1 attack, and he's going to get it. The Earth Spirit dies at the same time underneath the tier 2 tower on bottom, but that was Shazam's little attack.
Yeah, but that's more like the kind of trade that Complexity are happy to get. I think the fight the mid lane, they just underestimate the impact that Darkseer can have, and they get run at. It's gonna be
less though. Like, you see the 4 staffs already arriving for Complexity. Like, Batrider's got 1, Disruptor is pretty much done his as well. At that point, like, you won't have the same problems as before. Complexity will just use positioning against Shazam. And damn you, Chessie, you're so generic. Maelstrom builder.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the best build, I think. It's like, lets you split push, lets you fight. And...
It is. I'm just a Deso advocate. Like, it makes as much sense as, like, Trump being president, but still, I don't want to say I like both of those scenarios, I only like one.
Hang on, we were talking earlier about Slash's way, and one of his oldest guides was actually Nature's Prophet, and he said, Rush Desolator. That was his thing, so...
Well, I'm glad Slasher agrees with me.
Yeah, you've got one one person in supports of your view, and
It's easy, cheap, early damage.
it was at that point it was working for him in 6.5 MMR or something. That's so yeah. He's getting Jesse's
Real trouble. First rise coming in, he gets his rise of nature off. They use Finger of Death to get that kill, and they also get this follow-up stun onto Z-Freak with the Hex there from the Lion. And Jason's doing some serious work here. Swindlestar with a Black Hand that drags TC underneath the tower. He'll go down. Hanskin, he's got the perfect storm of death. Rax will bounce back out. MSS will drop, and Swindle stays alive through it all as well. He actually intended to die, and Savage tries to go on Hanskin. Hanskin throws out the wall so Savage can't run away, and that's a guaranteed kill for Hanskin to take it out, even though Limp was there to help out too. But Shazam, they lose 4 for 2.
Complexity needs to be careful because I think they got caught completely unready there, and it's because of the nature of their lineup. They're very mobile. The Bat can blink and force, the Furon can TP, Earthbreaker can roll, like even the Disruptors are force. Because they're mobile and they're so far ahead, they managed to get there and they managed to win the fight. But I don't think that they were prepared. I think that was them just reacting well and being ahead enough to still win the fight.
Yeah. I can see your point on that one. Again though, like, big props to Jason. Again, he's in the good position. The Hex is at the right time, the perfect stun. Shazam just making the most of complexity, just like TPing in one by one, coming out of position. That early Finger as well, like they got the kill, then they can move on to the next target.
Oh, I wanted to tell you this actually, and this is the perfect time. Jason's gone and bought a gem again. I went and checked the replay. There were actually 3 gems in that other game, and he had bought one.
Okay.
So this is just Jason does Brown Boots gem Lion. That's, you know, extreme times call for extreme measures, and
Is he the new like full sacrificial? Is he the new Arcade? Gives
Yeah,
everything
I
up for EGM.
you know who else has been doing that?
This is not a kill. Like even with Wrath of no, the Wrath of Nature stopped one unit away. It actually would have been a kill with the flame break damage. That would have actually been a bloody kill.
Yeah.
Oh, that is brutal.
The other player who's actually taken to doing that really.
Oh, MSS. He walked northwest away from Chessie, but now he's stranded on the wrong side of the wall of creeps. Yeah, sorry, you're saying.
Oh, so the other player who's recently I've noticed has taken to that like 7 or 8 position support that gets nothing is actually Synderen. I don't know if you've watched his new team match, but it seems like he's deliberately put himself in that position where he's playing heroes like Bane every game and never has any farm. The one Dream League game earlier, even though his team won, I remember seeing like his net worth was like 10k at 20 minutes, and the game ended around 70 minutes, and his net worth was like 8k. It had like gone down over like 35 minutes, and that's. I think there's. I mean, Synderen's a great analyst, understands the game very well, and I think there's clearly value in a team deliberately deciding, you know, we're gonna have one player who just takes very little and is all about the team. Yeah. My concern in this particular situation, in this series, is that I don't think you want someone playing Lion being put in that position over and over. It's just like, I think Lion needs to get some item, a blink or either lane.
Does he need a blink? Because as long as he can hit you right in the back of a snowball, he can still do his job. It's like having like Tinies as well, who could just toss in Tidehunters. So you're able to get the Ravage off in the perfect position, or normally a half-decent position.
I think that's a fair point. I don't know. I feel like in this game it's asking for quite a lot for the Lion to be able to be in the position to do the post snowball stun or the post vacuum stun. Or I mean, he's done well in it, so doing that so far this game. But I think that's like praise for the player. I don't think that the Brown Boots Lion can expect to be getting off those spells successfully without just getting.
Well, you just have confidence in the player, Jason. Obviously, Tier 1 America.
Yeah, Jason he's full of plays.
Been there when the time counts.
Where's the gem now? Oh, it's back at the fountain. You just did a ward run.
Yeah, they were doing this all through the last games as well. Like they've been very protective of the gems. I'm waiting to see like, okay, so is it a Radiance game for TC, or is it a Diffusal game for TC? Because obviously Diffusal Manta will allow him to battle a lot earlier. But does he feel like he needs to stall up this game a little bit more with like a Manta Radiance? And is Radiance even good enough, like, to... Because I don't see it really changing the fights that much. The damage would be great, but you could probably get more out of the Defusal.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that he might be thinking he needs the Radiance because he needs to make a big dent in the game. But I kind of think that the Radiance might be a trap. I sort of think that if they were to have a fight anytime soon, and they could win, it could make a difference to the fight that he's got that Yasha or he's got that Ultimate Orb or Diffusal Blade, then that's what he needs to have, because they really just can't afford to lose another fight. The reason that he's gotten back into the game and gotten farm is because they've been able to do alright in some of the fights, but if they were to get wiped in a fight and he's sitting saving gold for Relic, he's probably going to kick himself.
Yeah. Buys up half the stuff during it, loses buyback, loses racks directly after. Dream is lost. Complexity right now, they're going to remove the last out of tower 23 minutes in. They know Roshan's up, but they can get some, like, they've already got a decent Observer Ward up. But they can see if Shazam's going to try and come and contest them. But with a double damage rune in the bottom river, it's too good not to go for Roshan. And Swindle's going to steal it as well. Like, he's now turned himself into the 1 position. There's a Sunstrike Scout, but it may be too late thanks to the double damage rune.
I'm a bit curious about the fact that Swindle has picked up this Eagle Song. I mean, Helm of Dom, SNY Eagle Song, he's really not that tanky. It's gonna be great now because he's gonna have an Aegis. But outside of the Aegis, I feel like... I don't know. Part of me feels like if he went for the BKB instead of the Eagle Song, then they could just be comfortable going into any kind of fight. And without the BKB, I do feel like his tank ability is all about the Aegis here. He is kind of squishy without it. They've got the damage to kill him.
The fact he's also able to finish up, like, I'm actually okay with this because of the timing of his money. They're going to be able to get the Butterfly up while the Aegis is still on him. And then they can just force the issue. So you've got this evasion, you've got, like, the increase in armor and everything else that comes along with it. So, I'm actually kind of okay with this. And I also learned after the Silver Edge debacle at Dota Pit never to judge incorrectly. Yeah. Wait, Limp, you need to go further left. The item builds of Swindles. Nice kick. Comes in from Z-Freak. He's actually picked up his Veil of Discord for this, so there's no way Shazam want to fight into it. And now Limp can finally get rid of that board.
Jason losing some net worth. I mean, most of his gold is just from, like, you get 100 gold every minute just by being alive. And it's just like, it's torture for him because he stays alive for a few minutes, but then he dies and he loses half of it. And we do see TC has picked up the Relic now. I don't know, I honestly feel like Rush Radiance is, with the kind of farm that Complexity have, it's maybe not even the item that's going to have the dent on the fights.
It's not really Rush too when it takes you 28 minutes to finish it.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a farming item here, and I don't know if I agree. I feel like Complexity maybe sensed that the way for Shazam back into the game is to fight them and like keep winning fights. Complexity have now started doing what they did in game 2, where they just keep extending their lead by controlling the map, controlling the resources on the map. And you know, you can get your Radiance on Spectre here. You're gonna have to win fights or make kills or get objectives.
If by some miracle they are capable of winning the fight, then this Radiance pickup will definitely work out. And he's keeping it hidden. He's keeping it back in base, so he's trying to make himself less of a target.
Yeah, I think the Radiance is going to do less work to help them actually win the fights than what the other build would do. I think if you hit a Radiance early when the images are just destroying enemy supports on their own,
yeah,
sure, fine, but that's not going to happen yet.
Yeah. Like, because the supports of Complexity also have so much money, like, Disruptor's gonna be building into an Aghanim Scepter. This will actually make him innately tanky. And the other support is a Nurse Spirit, who will have ways to get away, or potentially turn on you. That's why I thought, like, Diffusal Blade and Manta, like, because that's the bread and butter, right, for a Spectre. Because of the way the Desolate interacts with the illusions, you're just able, like, to just jump in, you reality on a target, you Manta, and that target is dead. Like, there's no real way to survive it. And the only real tanky ones would be like a BKB Gyrocopter.
One thing I will say is, in terms of farm, if TC recognizes the Complexity are trying to choke them out of the game, and won't let them have fights, then there isn't really a way for Spectre to catch up without the Radiance. Like, the other build just doesn't let you farm very quickly. It forces you to fight, and it's quite difficult for them.
Swindles does so much damage, but it's the wraparound from Shazam. 3-man smoke maneuver out the back. They're going to lose their sigil pretty early in this fight, which isn't going to help them for their fight control, but they bring in the Radiance over on TC. Let them burn, and if possible, they're back into a 3-man wall. That's what they wanted. That's what Shazam needs, but Swindles will still do a lot of damage. He's got the extra help from Disruptor, but Swindles is kind of torn between 2 different locations. His supports, Limp and Hunskin, are going to take care of him as Swindles burn. Yep. He'll go down. There goes your Aegis. Savage just wants to walk himself out. Limp right behind him. They should get one sticky napalm. He's got the flame break available, and actually means the flame break misses because of this. Because of the glimpse back. Sunstrike right on top of Limp. The Forge Spirits, the Force Staff isn't going to help him. He'd already lost too much armor. The Force Spirit damage was going to be enough anyway. The complex is a very, very scrappy kind of fight.
This is probably best case scenario for Shazam. And maybe part of it is that the Radiance was hidden, but it's bigger than that. It's that the Darkseer gets such a nice vacuum wall. And this is your classic Spectre combo, Spectre plus Darkseer, where you get the most value out of all of the damage that you're outputting. And
they do have a downside though, they lost the gem. They now Complexity are in control of 2 gems.
Where's my pension?
That's very unfortunate, and I think Jason at this point is going to say, guys, I'm not buying another gem. I can feel the blink dagger. He's so close. This is like...
They're like, no, buy Tranquil Boots. Just that's it. Like, have some extra movement speed and survivability. That's all.
Yeah, and the Tusk just buys himself a blink dagger. So, I was going to say, like, maybe Tusk could buy some sentry wards. Let Lion get blink, but... You see Jason's buying some Observer wards, but not committing to the full gem again, so they want to be able to get them both to the blink. And honestly, Shazam are putting together some key components in what they need to be able to win fights. And I talked about how there aren't supports that are that squishy, but something that was very noteworthy when the Darkseer and Spectre started initiating the fights is that actually Chessie's Nature's Prophet build is not tanky at all. I think he needs to build a BKB next. I think that is kind of the MVP build. That is kind of the, like, where the fighting build usually goes. Gyro's got his BKB now. Batrider is going towards the BKB pretty close. I think the Furor needs one too. I think if they all 3 get...
Trollhorn in, Jason's there, no Finger of Death, but the Sunstrike will do the work. All set up by this wonderful Observer ward up on the hillside. Jason.
That's his blink.
That is the blink. He has net worth, and he also, again, great positioning, great play. Like, the read isn't really that difficult, but he's at least able to keep his mind while Complexity still pushing so far ahead.
Yeah, and this is also part of why he needs a BKB. This is the timing for me is like the final test in this game is going to be what does Shazam do when all 3 of the cores bring BKBs to the push. And it's going to happen soon because the Gyro's already got it, the bat is close to it, and it doesn't take an Nature's Prophet that long to farm more.
Jason. He's coming across. This guy has got balls of steel. He's now going to TP himself back. But he put down an Observer ward so we can watch what's happening with the Ancient stack. And because he didn't get too close, he didn't get revealed. Because we're in nighttime. And now, Blink, X, Swindles initiates on that BKB may do nothing. Swindles, he's down! He can't even get up in the Finger of Death. Picks up the Earth Spirit. Give this man another cookie! Jason's playing this game perfectly. They all don't die to the Disruptor ulti, thanks to also the extra mech kicked in from Brax. And Complexity once again are repelled from the base of Shazam.
Yeah, I mean, it only does so much to have a BKB if you're going to be burst down before you can use it. And I think it's fair for Complexity. I was saying they're going to wait for 3 BKBs. They know that there's no Haunt on Spectre, so I think it's fair for them to be like, Gyrocopter's at the front line, it's the only one that needs BKB, we can still push. But he 100% absolutely has to be able to get BKB off before he gets Hex, and that's difficult. That's like, I think it's difficult no matter what, and it's especially difficult, probably I think it's fair to say for Swindle, who is used to playing a different kind of role. He's used to playing heroes that are actually okay with being initiated on with the Blink and the Hex.
Are okay with actually dying.
Yeah. But in this situation, getting caught by the Hex before he BKBs is like absolutely fight losing for his team. And I don't know, part of it might just be that they don't think that Shazam would be confident enough to go in there.
It's also
but they
because they didn't know. They didn't know the blink tag was up. Like without that kind of knowledge, you're not you're expecting everything that's going to come at you will come through snowball. It'll fly in as a tornado. It'll be the Darkseer surging somebody in. Even if it's a Tuskar or a Walrus Punch, like that's only going to buy you a short amount of time. Like, yeah.
But I don't know. Complexity need to realize at this point that Shazam keep putting together plans which work. Shazam have fought their way back into this game from like a point that looked almost hopeless. Over and over and over, they found opportunities for themselves. And I was saying a few minutes ago that the BKBs would be the like final test for Shazam, and I'm starting to feel the opposite. I almost feel like the BKBs might be the final opportunity for Complexity. Like I think they get this third BKB on Nature's Prophet, and they got to get stuff done with it, because if at that point they've got those 3 BKBs and they still fail to achieve, you know, objectives, they're gonna start losing. They act like the game is actually gonna turn around.
That's when you may even pose the other question. Well, MSS, there's another TP coming in at the moment. It's going to be Limp, but with a 4-star forward, MSS, he's going to invoke up his Ghost Walk as well as his Ice Wall, and there is no chasing up at that point.
Hey, look how far Swindle
I'd still
is.
like to see like Chessie pumping out more damage, because Swindle's, like, he's getting up there, but he seems to be the primary target of Shazam.
He's just got a BKB. It's as simple as that. He's still got a 10-second BKB.
But it's Chessie, like, where he wants to go with this build.
He needs a BKB as well. He absolutely needs a BKB as well. He's gonna buy it. Yeah,
okay.
Like what they need to do is they need to start a fight with all of them using their BKBs and fighting on their own terms. Because
okay. Bye, Chessie. See, this is where I wasn't certain. Like a BKB would work. I'd prefer to see an item with a couple more stats. Middle lane, they're trying to chase after TC. The homing missile is on him, and Limp. Well, I need to get closer. Tornado coming in from MSS with the EMP. Swindle's going to use his BKB here. This is even a bigger win for Shazam, only to the kill off Prophet on the bottom lane. They get Swindles to burn the 10-second BKB.
Yeah, I mean, there's no item Furion could have bought to survive that kind of gank, and the concern that I have for Complexity right now is that they're just not respecting the fact that Shazam keep looking for plays. Like, he TPs the bot lane to farm with like no respect for the fact that, hey, they might actually be trying to gank me, they could be waiting there, and over Shazam have played their way back into the game. They get every credit, in Jason in particular, but and look now they're going for the rush. Like, are Complexity ready to contest this? Are they going to give away the rush? They're certainly going. I don't think they're there on time.
Prophet's too far away. Roshan's already dead. And you can see how quickly Jason blinked himself out looking for an opening.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, I wanted to make a point a few minutes ago that Swindle had 20k net worth, and the next highest in the enemy team was like 14k with 6k gold ahead. And this was at the time when he got burst down before he could even BKB. And having a 6k net worth advantage on a hero like Gyrocopter and then to die without doing anything, in some ways it's just not acceptable. It's just, I don't know, it's difficult to blame him personally, but the side of Complexity at some point in this game lost their composure. They really got punished by Shazam. Shazam kept finding opportunities to fight their way into the game. Complexity just seemed unprepared for it each time, and their window is about to close. I think Complexity are about to get behind in this game, if they aren't already behind, honestly.
It's a difficult situation for them too. If you understand, like, probably your best power to keep yourself in control of this game is the split push. Is to have Chessie doing what he's doing on the bottom lane. The issue is Shazam is always looking to hunt that, and it only takes a hero like a Lion now to rotate down to help out the Spectre, who did complete it the Manda style, get such a kill. So with this, your split push always comes with a risk. So all you can really do is either bait your split push, or when they do go for that kill, you get a better trade-off. But the only way to get a better trade-off is to take something in high ground, and you need the Nature's Prophet Treants to help with this. You need a lot of things to help with this, including the Prophet's damage.
It's a sad story, this game, and Complexity will be kicking themselves because they absolutely know that if they were meticulous about it, they could have closed out the game and Shazam could have done nothing. Like, absolutely give credit to Shazam for finding the opportunities, for taking them, for making the plays. But you gotta also look at Complexity and say, they relaxed a bit too much. They took their hands off the wheel, and they're being punished for it.
Let's Invoker. Well, here they go again. Bottom lane. Outrider's already down for the count. The Glimpse will take Brax back into the storm, and he is very, very low. The mech charge will now trigger. They just walk away. Jason, he's already used his Finger of Death, but the stun will connect on Hanskin, and that's a secondary kill. And what's your trade-off? Tornado flies, Z-Freak's gonna dodge it, so will Chess. The effect is actually too short anyway. MSS gonna get stanced as he walks up the hill. Now it's Shazam's turn not to get too over-aggressive, but there's no buybacks on Batrider and Disruptor.
I mean, did you even know Disruptor as an Aghanim Scepter? I just noticed that now. And
No.
the reason I never noticed it before is because they're not making plays. Complexity making no plays in this game.
Jason? Plays too much, Jason. Bait or not, Swindles is still going to rocket barrage you down. You cannot survive that with just the Ghost Scepter. Cooldown will arrive from Swindles. Now Shazam, they have overextended. MSS will come back in again. Swindles won't get hit by that one, but Z-Freak managed to kick MSS. Taking a little bit of life off him. TC, they're all poking and prodding, looking for the heroes, but they're missing the objective. They get a couple of kills anyway. I suppose you could say it's an okay thing for Shazam, but they didn't inflict any real damage into that tier 3 tower. Like, not enough they could quickly take it again. Next
They're
time
totally fine with it. They're totally fine with it. I mean, their line could die a million more times in this game. They don't care. It's like the Complexity aren't the side that has a Spectre that's coming back into the game, and this is what Spectre does. This is like honestly half of the appeal of the hero in this patch, and that's why I say that the window might have already been missed for Complexity, because they have let the Spectre come back into the game. They've let it get sufficiently big that it's almost out of reach for them to deal with it, and there's nothing on the side of Complexity that looks like it. It's not like one too many fed feeds from the Lion and suddenly Swindle's going to be huge. Swindle's been huge for ages. Like, they're struggling to make any plays despite the fact that he's huge.
But Shazam still, like, okay, so we're talking about this from the perspective of what happens when Shazam catches Complexity outside the base. This is because Complexity play this split kind of game. Complexity can take it a different approach. This is stage 1 of approach. Limp jumps forward and approaches down fast. The Mana Star went off as well as Professional Haunt. Too much chance to force, but that ultimate from Disruptor. TT's gonna go down. They turn on the Magnetize. Hanskin gets a lot of space after making a lot of big plays. Jason jumps in with a Finger of Death, trying to kill off Swindles. They're going to be successful at doing so. As Spectre, well, as MSS will be able to get that kill over on Limp. They get a 2 trade-off. They're looking for Z-Freak as well. He's gonna boulder himself up. No TP scroll, so Z-Freak is kind of stranded here for the now.
Yep, they deal with the Spectre, but he has an Aegis, and I think that's part of the plan for TC, and TC's pretty much got a heart now too, and
okay, so this isn't the way I originally thought that going down, especially considering you realize the reality, the fact that Complexity just initiated an Aegis, the immortal carrying hero. That's another problem with that. But I'm fairly certain they just want to go out, find a kill, and then turn everything to a high ground defense, because the high ground defense is quite decent.
I think what's going on here right now is that Complexity realized they have, like, probably we could say they have thrown the game very, very hard, and I think that they're now making desperation phase. I think that's the, like, that Batrider jump there is a sign of, like, we are falling to pieces, we are losing our foothold in this game, we have to do something.
What do you can't keep going out all the time, like, how many smokes? Like, okay, there's a smoke restock in 5 minutes and 40 seconds. And they have, okay, so you actually can't smoke for practically 6 minutes. You're not getting out again. Shazam, warding-wise, they do have 1 Observer Ward up on a cliffside. They got the gem over on Limp, so he's gonna get rid of that now. How many gems do we actually have on the field?
Jason is looking for a play here. Would be a mistake if Jason went in here. This would be death for sure.
If it was a support, you could get it.
Well, everyone retreats.
And like the the trade-off time also wouldn't be that bad. Because Complexity are never going to come out when it's just 4 of them. They need all 5.
I'll tell you something, I don't think that Complexity can win through another Aegis. I think if Spectre gets Aegis, or Invoke even, if Shazam get another rush, I think Complexity are close close on their deathbed. It's not something they can afford to do, but at the same time, to fight into Darkseid and Invoker Spectre team at the Rush Pit is also very, very difficult. So they're gonna have to think of something. They're gonna have to think of a way to pull them away, steal the Rush themselves, or just completely outplay them at the Rush Pit next time the Rush is up.
What they need is vision. Like, they need an initiation coming in from the Batrider. They got the ability to pop a hero from Shazam. Even if you do pop that Spectral Horn from TC and cause the chaos, that's when Hanskin's control factor, which was, like, that was so damn strong in the mid lane fight. Like, that was one of the primary reasons why Complexity stayed in that. And for a moment, I actually thought they were winning that.
Yeah, the Disruptor Ags ulti could actually still win them the game. Like, imagine you catch all the cores. If you catch Darkseid, Invoker, and Spectre in your ulti and field, your team's gonna win that fight for sure.
Yeah.
Like, every time.
3k life now on TC. As you said before, he was pretty close to heart, but he's still got another 1500 gold off his sleeve. So he'll have buyback available, even if they want to fight. Olympus just being so paranoid, checking every corner. There's actually not a single dire observer ward on the field. Unless it's covered up by a hero, which it's not.
And remember, Spectre buyback potentially is like an Aegis. If they take the next fight without him ulting, he could just, you know, YOLO in. If you kill me, I'm gonna buy back and horns, and that's not something. Again, that's not something that Complexity win a fight through. I think it's near impossible for him to win a fight through that.
Kendall's just finished up probably his last major item, unless he wants to sell SMY for a rapier. But he's got his Satanic now. Like, that's actually like one of his only plays. He could go for the BTs and turn this into a complete split push, but as we've already seen, that's not as effective when you're going up against a hero like Spectre.
And Jason, come on, man, you can't split push against Jason. He doesn't allow it.
He's been everywhere. You know, he's actually playing very similar. Like, is Jason actually AUI in disguise?
Yeah, he might be. I mean, Dota players do just learn lots of stuff from each other, let's be honest. And this is the rush. It's happening now. It's Complexity. Can you do something? You want to do something?
They really can't.
They're gonna be too late again.
Yep. I think they know it as well. Like, they're assuming like everyone's missing. Either they're smoke ganking us, which means we have to stick together, or they're in Roshan. Roshan's down. MSS has cheese. TC has Aegis.
Alright, so Nature's Prophet has a Hex now, which is actually a really big late game item, and it does give them potential to catch people out. And
but he bought
I think
out
that
for it.
Yeah, well, it's pretty worth it at this point. I think it's the kind of thing they need. Firstly, to win a fight, but secondly, also, if they ever do find Shazam isolated, like just 2 or 3 heroes on their own, they could actually take advantage of that.
MSS, I just realized too, like, look on the courier. Like, he also just picked up his own Scythe of Vice. He trades his drums out for it. Yeah. He is, like, this Invoker. Because, like, we keep talking about how great the Spectre is with the chaos that TC creates, but the man who's always been ahead of him in net worth is, in fact, the Invoker. It's MSS. And now TC is playing the bait game. And Complexity don't want it. They can't fight this.
They're, like, paralyzed in this game. And they know it, and you could, all 3 of their cores have spent their buyback gold. It's the kind of move that a team makes when they know that, look, we're really going to struggle to win this game anyway if we die and have to buy back. So let's just have the items. Let's see what we can do. Because if we can't win a fight the first time around, we probably, you know, that's our chance lost.
Yep. Here's the play. Shazam. It's the hard thing to do. It's going up high ground. Z3's going to add a little bit more pressure in through the top lane. This will actually give options for Complexity if they want to try and do some level of split push. Like, you Veil, you kick, the creep wave's going to go down on top, and Shazam now is worried about what's behind them. And what are they going to do? They sent MSS back. He's got BTs available, so he can do this kind of thing. And still rejoin the rest of his teammates when the time comes. And he's a lot more maneuverable than most of the other heroes apart from Prophet. But there's no way Prophet also wants to be in any kind of risky position where he gets caught out either. Like, this is the time as a Prophet where you wish you had an Aghanim Scepter and a whole bunch of minions, treants to do your bidding for you.
Complexity are already kind of sitting there just like, they have the tools to punish mistakes, and they they basically sit around hoping, like, praying, waiting for Shazam to make a mistake. I mean, Complexity themselves made plenty of mistakes. They, as I said, they took their hands at the wheel, they relaxed too much and lost a huge lead. And Shazam could do the same thing this game, make no mistake. Shazam definitely could, if they lose composure.
Yep.
Make a couple mistakes, all of a sudden Complexity's game again. That can happen.
And that seems to be what Complexity is banking on. They keep top lane pushed in, so if they can take a fight inside their base and Shazam somehow burn through all 5 of their buybacks and are incapable of defending, then Complexity could take a Rax. This is the dream situation, and I call it a dream because it is highly unlikely that it happens. And now,
Jason's going in.
It's like he's having a look around though. Oh, he's in reality. Going over at Huntskin, Swindles, let that ulti off, and wow, Jason died so quickly. Even if Disruptor goes down now, if they can kill off TC, Aegis Immortal or not, like it's still worth it. They have to get back into their base, however. The chase is coming over. The Tuskar looking for an opening, and as Swindles to be caught out with no BKB, he's still got the Titanic, but he needs space to actually use the damn thing. And now they're gonna get it C3. The walls come down, but with the Magnetize, it's BKB from MSS that allows them to keep fighting. They're losing multiple heroes, and the dagger, it actually reached up from TC. They're gonna almost wipe Complexity. Buyback comes out from Swindles. They've still got Prophet on the field, but Chessie is healing himself up with not much more really to give. That bottom tower, Swindles may as well deny it, because TC's going to walk in and kill it.
Yeah, I mean, TC buys the Diffusal Blade, has an extra 5k gold as well.
MSS going for him. Cooldown's back off cooldown. TC needs to keep the run going. Swindles now picked up and tossed down. BKB is in 3 seconds time. He turns on the Satanic, needs to attack though, and he can't do it. That's probably the game right there. At least it's the mid and the bottom racks. Because there is really no one else with enough damage to really repel this. Be it Chessie or not, TC is a beast. Hanskin, TC walked into the ultimate of Hanskin. MSS will go down, Hanskin will try and walk away. Brax will be back for the fight. After he BT's buyback in, they'll dagger forward to chase up that Earth Spirit. He'll fall down and TC, oh, he gets kicked away. Being attacked by all the towers. They've only claimed the range racks for all of this. Bad Rider will be back up in a moment. They'll need like a double 4-staff chain to make that pull into Fountain.
They're considering going for the throne. Yeah, they keep considering going for the throne. They're like, let's get mid-racks. Thing is, the appeal of going for the throne is you know you can't get megas here. Because there's a tier 1 and a tier 2 up on the top lane.
Yeah. They just go for the safety, they go for the racks first, and then they can go for the throne.
Yeah, they actually can. They can still do it, but this is just insurance.
They might be waiting for the buyback. Like that little poke from TC may have just been like, okay, is there a buyback on the other 2 heroes? Now Limp jumps in with the BKB. He gets TC, but instantly gets flipped like a pancake, dragging TC back on the other side of the fountain. But really, at this point, Shazam, okay, this game is so deeply inside the bag. Yeah, Chessie just perfectly stunned. I want to give like the match right now to Jason. He has done such a great job. He has made so much space for the rest of his team to do work. And Complexity, yeah, they gave him an opportunity, but Shazam, they took it.
And the funny thing is that final fight which ends this game was an awful initiation by Shazam. It was like the horns into nothing, Lion blinks in and feeds himself, and they still just win the fight and kill them over and over through buybacks. That's how far ahead they are. That's how impossible their Spectre is to manage and the Invoker is to manage at this stage in the game. But I think they recognize we've got Aegis, we're really strong, just start a fight, however, it doesn't matter, like, we will win the game, and that's what they do.
We have a decider, our 5th game to decide who will actually travel to Russia, to Moscow. Battle out in the Epicenter LAN finals. We'll be having a short break and come back and see who will it be. Will it be Shazam? Or will it be Complexity? We'll find out. Stay tuned.